So, Chas v'shalom, ani l'doidi v'doidili, we're in the Tzaitin of, if we come to Hashem, take a step towards Hashem, Hashem take a step towards Hashem be matzah. It's everything Shul, our time, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is close to us, and Chas v'shalom, if we come and say, can I have money? Or we say something that if we don't take advantage of the time, Hashem is coming towards us, we have that opportunity, and to not take advantage of the opportunity could be perceived as a slight, I don't want to say chutzpah, but not the best reaction. If the king is coming to you, so it behooves us to make sure that we're there to receive it, and we take advantage of the opportunity properly. There's nothing sadder than a missed opportunity. We have an opportunity now to shtelevek Tavshin Pei Hey. Had we known what was going to happen in Tavshin Pei Daled, what was going to transpire, had we known that 383 days ago, Tavshin Pei Daled is 383 days. Had we known, our tefillas would have been totally different. We have the opportunity now. We can shtelevek to a large extent Tavshin Pei Hey. There was a very old Rosh Hashiva, Rav Yitzchak Dov Koppelman, Zatzal, the Rosh Hashiva in Luzern. He was born in 1906. He came to Melbourne, Australia, 104 years old. He came to Melbourne, Australia in 2010. I got there September 2009. He came in the winter, Parshas Koirach Chukas, that's the winter over there. And he spoke in the Kollel, he spoke in the Shuls, in the yeshivas there. And it was amazing to see a person that age. And he learned by Reb Shimon for 18 years, by Reb Shimon Shkop. 18 years, I brought my boys, look at this man. He knew the Chavetz Chaim as an adult. He knew the Chavetz Chaim, he spoke to the Chavetz Chaim. He darshaned, and every place he went, he had his very close Talmud of Schlesinger from Muncie with him. And every place he went, and you have to understand, he's a Litvish Rosh Hashiva, not a drop of Chassidish blood in him. Every place he went, at the end of his drasha, he asked to sing a song. And if Schlesinger sang a song, and the Olam chimed in, Ani Yeshena V'li Bi'er, from Shir HaShirim. Ani Yeshena V'li Bi'er, Kol Doidi Doifik Pischili. Kol Doidi Doifik Pischili. And he sang that song for minutes and minutes, tears streaming down his face, crying. This Rosh Hashiva, 104 years old, felt it important, every place he went, after every single drasha, to sing the song for 10 minutes. So I was thinking to myself that imagine, this Yid, this Talmid Chacham lived, let's say, 1910 to 2010, that century, those 100 years, how much changed in the world in those 100 years? B'derech klal, now things go much faster, but b'derech klal, historically, things don't change that much. Printing press changed things, but 100 years, but 1910 to 2010, essentially he was around for that. He witnessed that. And all he could think about, or what was on his mind, I should say, was missed opportunity. He was crying that this opportunity that we seem to be missing. And there's nothing sadder than missed opportunity. And for Tavshin Pei Hey coming up, the year coming up, now is the opportunity. Now is our time. Now is the time to schwitz. We're already halfway through Elul. Second half of Elul. Aseres Yemei Tshuva. Now is the time to do our ishtadlus for Tavshin Pei Hey. So now I want to talk a little bit about Tavshin Pei Daled, a couple of ha'aras. So the first question you can ask in general, you come to dissect a year like this, it's like not shaykh. It's. We spoke last year, Aseres Yemei Tshuva, about this idea that when Rosh Hashanah falls out on Shabbos, it's going to be, as my kids would say, an epic year. It's going to be an epic year, l'toiv u'lemutav. And we've seen what happened. Tavshin Pei Hey, Rosh Hashanah is Thursday, Friday. Tavshin Pei Vav, I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday. Tavshin Pei Zayin, Tavshin Pei Ches, Rosh Hashanah falls out on Shabbos again. 3 times in 5 years. So how can we start to begin to dissect, to try to understand who are we, who am I, who other people can? When I was in the Kollel in Melbourne, there were a couple of Philadelphia alumni in the Kollel. There was a guy, Shlomi Pollack, Kavi Kinderman, a bunch of guys that were close with Reb Shalom. So they asked if we could have a shiur. This is before the times of Zoom. What was before Zoom? Skype. If we have a Skype shiur, with the Rosh Yeshiva once a week, Tab Shalom once a week. So he said, yes, we learned the Gra on Shir HaShirim for years. It took years, I think, to get to the second parak. Someone has tapes of it if anyone's interested. And we use the time also to ask questions sometimes, you know, that you have a great Talmid Chacham there, like we'd ask some questions. So around 15 years ago, maybe a little bit less, there was this Hurricane Sandy. Hurricane wasn't down here, it was up there in New York, New Jersey. And Hurricane Sandy affected the most concentrated Jewish communities outside of Eretz Yisrael. Mamish, Kadosh Baruch Hu sent it right in those areas, New York, New Jersey. My brother lives in Woodmere. His house was totally flooded, furniture, everything destroyed. He redid his house afterwards for free, but it's a separate discussion. So everyone was saying different things. So there was a law passed in New York about a ta'eva. Maybe that's the reason why it happened. And my brother said that they told everyone, take all your gashmias that got ruined. They didn't use the word gashmias. Take all your stuff that got ruined and put it in front of your house. And then we'll come and we'll pick it up. We'll clear it away. So he's walking down this block in like huge piles of geshmaka, gashmias. And it reminded him of Mitzorah, of Nigev Batim. There you take it out before it gets ruined. But the idea of seeing heaps of gashmias outside the house, maybe we're too fatifed in gashmias, after there, the two. So he asked him, Shalom, like who's right? It's an immature question, but who's right? Who hit it on the bullseye? Who's right with the reason why did Hurricane Sandy happen? So he said, he said, everything that everyone is saying is wrong, and everything that everyone's saying is right. He said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has an ability to make one thing happen to mean a million things to a million different people. He says, whatever you see in that, mistama, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was telling you. If you're looking at it from an objective perspective, mistama, if you see gashmias, then mistama, you have to work on gashmias. If you see, whatever person sees, that's what, so whatever everyone is saying, is for them is right. So everyone is saying is right and it's wrong. Depends on the person. There's no one message. So we can't not look a little bit in Tavshin Pei Daled, try to figure something out, what to be oived on for the coming year. We have to have the right perspective when we're looking at the year, b'chlalusa, on the macro level, and in the pratistic level as well. So l'maisa, one of the things, chutz from the tragedies and gefährliche atrocities, I think everyone is stelling on now, is the reaction of the world, right? If one would have gotten right that it's shaykh to happen what happened, but the reaction of the Welt afterwards is totally, no one would have thought that genocidal, what's good is bad, what's bad is good, like everything, the whole reaction is punkt verkehrt from what we would think. And we might think that yesh davar chadash tachas Hashem. You might think that we're living in crazy times where people can say that innocent people are really guilty and guilty people are really innocent. So Rabbi Yerucham, Mashgiach Rabbi Yerucham has a shtickle in the Vachadika Parasha on this inyan. Talking about the Toichacha, what happened to the Yidden. And he writes that this is mamish min aploim shanaroim oisim b'chol yoim. We see these amazing things, Zok Rabbi Yerucham every day. Uviyichud, if I didn't tell you who wrote this, you would think it was written mamish Tavshin Pei Daled. Uviyichud bizmanenu eile. It's not shy of what we're seeing now. Hine lona Medina Ktana, a small little nothing country, Lithuania, Ukraine. Umisperes v'che ulai kamillion, maybe there's 1 million people here, not that many. He says, Uma kimat bli sofer, they have no language. They're so uncivilized. Uma pchuso bezuya, it's garnished. Roye bakar b'nei roye bakar, farmers, children of farmers, they're mamish the most uncivilized, lowest goyim. V'hinei zok to Yerucham, gam heim b'soich bali hamedabrim, oidois ha'am Yisraeli. They're also, grace to mention, man da'amrim, as far as what the Jewish people are. Was is a Yid? Yehudi ha'arur, says Rabbi Yerucham, they call us. These goyim have no opinion on anything. They're so uncivilized. All they know is how to plow a field. They're the Baalei Medabrim Vegin, the Yidden. They know a Jew from river to the sea. And says Rabbi Yerucham, haloi zemamish l'loi kol bir. Doesn't make any sense. They don't have these opinions about anyone and anything else. Just the Yid. All of a sudden, when it comes to the Yidden, grace Shitas. He says, betoich the sin ha'arsis, this poisonous sin that the goyim have towards us, There was one koimer that says he's going to be Moshe Nefesh for the Yidden. He says the Yidden are the chosen people. Must have been, check out the history. And he was doing whatever he could to save the Yidden. Zok to Biruchim, we see from there, the Vaisdois, every guy knows that. Every guy knows that we're the chosen nation. And they all know that. But they cover with a sin towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Based on Ramban and Ha'azinu, the sin is not to do with us. All the hatred in the Welt is no shaykhs to us. It's all sin towards the Kadosh Baruch Hu, says the Ramban. And therefore Hashem is going to take revenge. But it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. He brings you from his contemporary, Rav Aaron Bakst, Zatzal, Hashem Yikom Damai, Talmud in Volozhin, in Slobodka, learned in Kelm under the Alto with Rabbi Yerucham, Rav Aaron Bakst. He says over a Ma'aseh, I'm not sure if it's a mashal, if it's a real story, about a Yid who lived in a Goyish town, a Goyish kfar. He was the only Yid there. And he was very nervous about the chinuch of his children, the friends they're going to play with. The strongest koyach, one of them in the world is the chevra. So he didn't want his kids playing with the Goyish boys. They'd come over, they'd play. He once had his neighbor in his house, this Yid, and he told his neighbor, you should know, by the way, my kids have this shchin, they have this disease, this contagious disease, I don't know what to do with it. He was just telling him, and this guy ran out. He told the whole town, no one go into this house of this Yid. It's contagious disease. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to die. The Zok of Aaron Box that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying back then, we can say today, stay away from the Yidden. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling the ganze Welt, stay far, far away from the Yidden. What we perceive as negative reaction, Efshir Ken Zayin, it's the best thing for us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu feared the Welt. Hashem created this whole thing, this whole reaction. He puts the thoughts in people's minds. It's for our best. Not to get caught up in the details. There's a gross Yetzer Hara. I have the same Yetzer Hara. To get caught up in the details, right? Geschmack, what happened this week? Geschmack. Punkt, my fig phone stopped working. Punkt. I happened to have dropped it like the 30th time. But Lamaisa, Gewaldig, Geschmack, I feel good. There's a Maisa with Yid comes to Rav Noach Weinberg, Zatzal, and he says that I don't need to really get involved in religion. I'm very close with Hashem. Like this, he said. This Yid said. Why so? He has a biker. And he was riding his motorcycle. He went off a cliff, mamish off a cliff into the ravine, and he was fine, not a scratch on his body. So with God, I'm like this, we're like this. So Rav Noach told him, who pushed you off the cliff? So Gavaldik, Baruch Hashem, there was episode Hatzlach, we're in a very shver matzav, a shtickle, shifless, a little bit of anivus to understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu für Tevav. Was geht sein November? Ich weiß nicht. All I know is the HaKadosh Baruch Hu is choosing everything. We do our establish versteht sich. But it's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The approach has to be, I'm not going to try to verstehen why, when, who won. I'm not getting into that. We're going to focus only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. Not to get caught up in the details, then you lose sight of the big picture. But as far as one specific idea that I noticed in Tav Shemidal, it speaks to me, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in a very strong way, made us think of other Yidden in ways that we never thought of before. The Noisabalim Chaveirei, versteht sich, the Avodas Talmud Torah, the Avodas Tefillah, Be'ikaron, but there was I believe, a very strong message from Hashem. All this sorrows that's happening, we kind of feel more like one. We think about Yidden more. We're more in tune with what's going on with other Yidden. So I was thinking, how can I improve myself in this area? So a Shul, a Kollel, any Jewish institution is a place that attracts all types of people, especially in Hollywood. And you get all types, people that are challenging, people that are less challenging. So there's one challenging situation we have there. And I dealt with it in a certain way. And I have a son, Binyamin, he's 12 years old. And he says to me, very respectfully, Tati, he says, what's your mahalach with dealing with this issue? Good shayla. What's your mahalach, So, I said, it's a very good point. Honestly, I didn't have a mahalach. My mahalach was, there's a hafra, there's something that's cheppering the matzav. Let's neutralize it and go on with life. That was my only focus. And then I realized that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent this issue to me, to the Kehillah Shtickle. He sent this issue to us. So the goal is not to neutralize the annoyance, we'll call it. The goal is to be a mensch and to neutralize the annoyance. At the same time, Until then, I thought the nisayon was, how do I get rid of this and go weiter in life? Then I realized Hashem is testing me to be a Kabbalah person, be saved upon Yafas, to not get annoyed, not get upset. We have to understand the nisyonis that come our way. We don't always see the nisyonis for what they are. We think our goal is just to push through. In this case, I had to realize, no, there's a bigger picture. I have to get my way, I have to try to get my way, but also at the same time be a mensch. Someone called me recently to ask me a question on a certain inyan. Eitzah on a certain inyan is actually, the spouse called me another time, and this spouse called me now to see if what that person said was true, whatever. So we were talking about it, the inyan, and it turned out that it was much more shalom bayis than the actual inyan. I mean, the inyan was the inyan, but it was a more fundamental issue with shalom bayis. I don't know them that well, so I couldn't get involved in that. But I did tell the person one thing. I did say, machlokes between the husband and wife, right? You familiar with that? Ever happened here? Machlokes. So I said that your goal shouldn't be to get your way. The goal should be to have a happy and healthy marriage and try to get your way. In the context of having a happy marriage, in the context of being a mensch, try to get your way. Often, I myself, very self-centered. I have the things I have to do, I have my achrayisen, and I got to do it, I got to get it done. And we often don't realize we're dealing with real people. So you want to have a clean house. So whatever it takes to get the clean house. No, you have to be a mensch and also have a clean house. Rav Leichter once said that he came from a house where the dishes were always done. He never woke up in the morning with dishes in the house. And he gets married. He said this, I can say it also. He gets married, and he sees in the mornings a sink full of dishes. So first he thought someone's going to die. He had to teach himself no one's going to die if there are dishes in the sink in the morning. No one's going to die from that. And then you have to build it up from there. But often, for myself, what I want done, I try to get done. I don't think about the people that it's affecting. And I think that's one of the lessons from Tavshin Pedal is to realize the nisyonis, to understand that every day, the one who's involved in the tzibur, which just came out to everyone here, we're coming across tens and tens of people, and we don't even realize we're being tested. We don't even realize what the nisyonis are. To be makir, to make sure that when we're trying to get our way, we're treating people with the proper respect. We're makir, it's a nisayon. I'll end with this. Kenyan Masech Shir was beginning one night. You had around 15 people around a table. A Meshulach walks in. Now, I hold Meshulachim are Malachim. I hold that it could be it's Eliyahu Hanavi. You don't know what's behind the corner. We didn't know last year what was behind the corner. You know what's around the corner. Meshulach comes in, and I saw the Olam wanted to start the shir. And they were going like, Machem Evek. What's the avodah if it's 7:57, you're about 7:59, 8:01, you're about to start a shir, and a Meshulach walks in? So the avodah is get rid of him. Start the shir. That's the avodah. So I yelled out, Stoka tatzil mimoves. Useshuva tfil stoka mavunis roya hagzera. All of a sudden the credit cards come out, and the money came out. We have to understand, we have to properly touch up the nisyonis we have, ubefrat vis-a-vis ben adam l'chavei. We have to realize, if we treat each other with more respect, if we're makir, for me the chiddush is, I never was makir the nisayon, that it was a nisayon. I didn't chap it was a nisayon. If we understand this, we correct these inyanim, and everyone on their own level looks into the previous year and tries to figure out what went wrong mitzad our own avodas Hashem, we can correct it for the future. Have a ksiva chasima tova.
So, good in Yiddish.